Hello student, this is the next lecture of class 10th. In this lecture, basically we will discuss about the transportation. First 4 lecture that I have already uploaded, you can watch from that. Okay, so already that I told you, in life process it conclude mainly 4 topics. First is nutrition, respiration, transportation and excretion. So this one is the part 5th, that is transportation. So the topics that we are going to cover in this lecture, that is number 1, transportation in unicellular and multicellular organism. Unicellular, that you all know, all the organisms which are made up of single cell, that is amoeba, paramecium, euglena, yeast, they are the unicellular organism. Transportation in plants. Transportation in plants, we have to discuss about the xylem and phloem. You already know about the xylem and phloem in class 9th. So here we will discuss about one more topic, that is transpiration and importance of transpiration, most important topic. Next is transportation in animals. This is the most important one, transportation, because we all know that in our body, that maximum that we will take in the amount of food, oxygen, carbon dioxide will be transported in our body. So in that, what are the help? Next, fluid in our body. There are so many fluid which are present in our body. Firstly, the basic example is blood, that you all know that it was a fluid. So detail you all already studied in class 9th. So here some part is there. Next is blood vascular system in human being. Blood vascular, basically blood vessels in human being. Here we will discuss about the how blood will be transferred from which capillary or tube that it will be transferred in our body. Next one is human heart. Human heart is most important because in that diagram and double circulation, valve, there are so many things are there. So here it begins. Now come to the first topic, that is transportation in unicellular and multicellular organism. First I will told you, in unicellular organism basically one cell is present, so all the activities are done by that single cell. So only the diffusion process will take place in the unicellular organism. You all know that about the diffusion process, that any particle move from higher concentration to lower concentration. So unicellular organism, that I already told you, that like amoeba, paramecium, euglena, etc., the transportation that take place by diffusion process. So note that diffusion is movement of any substance from higher concentration to lower concentration is called diffusion. Now one question will be arise that in ki why we will not take oxygen or anything by the diffusion, okay, by the diffusion process, because our all cells are not directly contact with the environment, and the unicellular organism only one cell is that cell is directly contact with the environment, so they can be easily exchange all the components from the environment, but not us. In multicellular organism, all the cells that I already told you, all the cells are not directly contact to the environment, so diffusion process will not take place. So this question will become in the examination. In multicellular organism, transportation takes place with the help of transporting system. You all know that in our body there are so many transporting system, but first is circulatory system, that is internal transport system, is also called as internal transport system. Now second one, you see that transportation in plant. Transportation in plants, basically we all know that in soil water is present, so that water is easily transferred from soil to the tip of the plant with the help of xylem. And we all know that by the process of photosynthesis, leaf prepare food, and that food will be transferred to the different part of the body, different part of the plant body, okay, with the help of phloem, okay. So this process is called as translocation. Be reminded, this process is called as translocation, when the particle move from different part of the plant with the help of phloem, that is called as translocation, okay. Now see that it is in the most of the higher plant, the transport system is made up of tube like structure, that is xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem are combined together as called vascular bundle. In that vascular bundle, one more thing is that is cambium ring. which we continue in the next lecture. In this tissue constitute vascular system or vascular bundle of the plant. Okay, in the leaf there are clear seen veins. There are so many veins is that you have already seen the veins. When you first you see that, suppose that this one is the leaf, this is the diagram of leaf. There are so many veins that this one is the veins. In the veins there are so many xylem and phloem. If we cut the cross section of that vein, we can easily see the vascular bundle, that is xylem and phloem, and cambium ring also. In between that two veins you see that a middle, that is midrib, it's called as midrib. Okay, you can easily solve it. Next one is upward movement of water and minerals from the root to the leaf of tree is called essence of sap. We all know that water will be moved from soil to the tip of the plant with the help of xylem. Okay, so this process or this steps is called as ascent of sap. This is the most important thing, that upward movement of water with the help of xylem is called as ascent of sap, or simply you write that upward movement of water from soil to the tip of plant is called as ascent of sap. Okay, next one, the food transfer, that is already told that food transfer to different part of the plant with the help of phloem is called as translocation. We all know that leaf prepare food, only the leaf or the green part of the plant will prepare food by the process of photosynthesis. And we all know that during the process of photosynthesis there is the formation of glucose, and that glucose is stored in the form of starch, and later that food will be transferred to a different part of the plant with the help of phloem. Okay, clear? This process called as translocation. Next one is ascent of sap. Only the definition will be in your course. Okay, so you can easily learn from that definition. Only the definition is very that one, the upward movement of water in the dissolved form, the upward movement of water from the soil to the tip of branch or leaves or stem is called as ascent of sap. Next one is transpiration. That is most important, because in previous year the question will become from the transpiration. Transpiration, you all know that from class 6. Okay, transpiration is very easy. We all know that inside the leaf water is present, because in photosynthesis we all know that carbon dioxide is combined with water. Okay, so we all know that in the leaf water is present, and stomata are also present. Okay, when sunlight will be enter through the stomata, then the water which are present inside the leaf are become warm and converted into water vapor and remove from that leaf in the form of water vapor. Okay, so we can easily write that movement of water in the form of water vapor from the surface of leaf with the help of sunlight is called as transpiration. Okay, clear? Now, importance of transpiration. There are so many importance of transpiration. First thing is that we all know that water vapor will be released from the leaf. Okay, and it help in the formation of cloud also help to maintain the environment temperature. Okay, when water is not present in that leaf, okay, then ascent of sap, it means movement of water from soil to the tip of plant will be occur. Okay, so side by side some minerals will be also transported from soil to the tip from that leaf. Okay, so transpiration is also help to transfer the minerals also. Okay, when water is moved from down to upward, okay, then it also maintain the temperature of that plant. First, there are so many importance. First, cool during the hot condition, it is very important. It help plant to lose the excess water. There are so many excess water which are present in the leaf, which can be easily converted into water vapor. Okay, as the excess water evaporate is indirectly help it gets a rainfall, because it is the formation of cloud, and later that cloud in the form of rain. Okay, through transpiration all the parts of plant get water, that is easy. Okay, it help the plant to build turgid. Plant turgidity means maintain the shape of the plant. Okay, because when any leaf will be lose the water, it get wilts. Okay, after that it take up the water. Okay, or when water will reaches on that, it will become turgid. It means hard. It maintain the shape. You see that basically diagram. Suppose that this one is the plant, and inside the plant you see that water is present, and when any sunlight will be enter through the stomata inside that leaf, that water is converted into the water vapor, which later help in the formation of cloud, and that cloud in the form of rain. Okay, this one. Next you see that transportation in animal. This one is most important. All parts of the plant body that help in the transportation of various material in the body collectively called as circulatory system. All parts of the body are help in the translocation or transportation of various food materials or various material throughout the body, which are constitutively called as circulatory system, like a fluid transport system. Fluid transport system, it means here we will discuss about the blood, plasma, blood corpuscles, or any control system. All the control that is hurt, it only that is hurt controlling system. Next one is the part through which transported medium required, the blood vessels, lymph vessels, or space of the body. Blood vessels in that we will discuss about the artery, veins, and capillaries, and lymph vessels, lymphatic system, or space of the body. Okay. One more thing that I will told you, lymph is called as middleman of our body, which we already studied in class 9th. Okay, because lymph, the material which cannot be transferred by blood, it can be transferred with the help of lymph, so it is called as middleman of our body. Okay, now you see that next one, blood vascular system in human being. Blood vascular system, here we will discuss about the blood, but not in detail, because in class 9th you have to know about detail about the blood. So we have all know that about that. Number one is blood. It is bright red. When it was bright red, it is carried with oxygen. It is dark red when it was deoxygenated. Okay, it is slightly alkaline. It is its pH is about 7.4 in nature. Okay, it is always keep on circulating through the blood vessels. Blood vessel is a tube like structure. Inside that tube, blood will be flowed very easily. Blood consists of two components. This question will become in, I think that it will become in 2018 set number B. Okay, blood consists of two components. Okay, number one is plasma. That is a liquid part of the blood, non-living part of the blood. Okay, it occupies 55 to 58% of the blood. In plasma, maximum amount is water, that is about 90% is water. Okay, and 10% is rest, that is protein, salt, and soluble material, organic compounds are there. This is the most important components we can. Okay, because in these days you hear that in COVID-19 we get the treatment with the help of plasma. So plasma also help in the formation of antibodies against the virus. Okay, so plasma is the most important component of the blood. Next, you see that blood corpuscles. Here we write that blood corpuscles. Second one is first one is plasma, second one is blood corpuscles. We all know that blood corpuscles occupy rest it will be occupy approximately 42 to 45% of the blood. Okay, it consists of three parts that you already know about, that RBC, WBC, and blood platelets. So here it is that number first is red blood corpuscles. Here we are not write then cell, here we write corpuscles. There are so many difference which I can later told you about that. It is also called as erythrocytes. Okay, so it is red in color due to the presence of hemoglobin. One more thing you will make very clear that in previous lecture I will told you about hemoglobin is a unit of respiration, because it help to transfer the oxygen and carbon dioxide to the different part of the body. Okay, a red pigment, that is hemoglobin, is when it help to transport oxygen and carbon dioxide in our body. When hemoglobin bind with oxygen, that is called as oxyhemoglobin, and when it was bind with carbon dioxide is called as carboxyhemoglobin. So here is that it is form oxyhemoglobin by the combination of oxygen with hemoglobin, and carboxyhemoglobin when hemoglobin combined with carbon dioxide. White blood corpuscles, that is called as leukocyte, which is also commonly called as soldier of our body, because it help to make strong our immune system. Immune system is that which protect our body through the various infections or the various diseases. Okay, here it protect our body through microorganism and their infection. It help to strong our immune system. It is commonly called as soldier of our body due to its protective nature, because the soldiers protect ourselves. So this, that is WBC, is also protect our body through the different infections. Okay, lifespan is about 4 weeks, and RBC's lifespan is 120 days. Okay, next one is blood platelets. It's also called as thrombocytes. Blood platelets is help in blood clotting. It only help in blood clotting. Suppose that any rupturing is there in our skin, so it can be clot our blood, because excess amount of blood will be not release from the body, only in the exception, that is hemoglobia patient. Okay, hemophilia patients. Okay, this one. So blood platelets is that only. So now here is the branches. Suppose that the blood is a two component, that one is plasma, and which is combination of 55 to 58%, and second one is blood corpuscles, which is about 42 to 45%. Plasma is again divided, it is composed of that is, first one is water, which is about 90%. Next one is protein, basically blood protein, that is 7 to 8%. Next one is salt. Salt is about 1%. Okay, next one is organic compound, yeah, the salt. Blood corpuscles is 3 component, that is RBC, yeah, erythrocytes is also called as RBCs, that is, here is WBC, also called as leukocytes, and blood platelets is also called as thrombocytes. Okay, here it will not written, but yeah, that is written. Okay, next, blood vessels. This one is the important one, because maximum time one question will be come from that. Blood vessels, it is a tube like structure in which blood will flow. Okay, we all know that there are many types of blood, two types of blood, that in one carrying oxygen, that is called as oxygenated blood, and when carried carbon dioxide, which is called carbon dioxide blood. Okay, so here we will discuss about blood vessels. Blood vessel, it is a tube in which blood flow is called as blood vessels. It is of 3 types. Number 1, arteries, it only supply oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery, because we have to learn about the exception. Exception is most important, because without exception you cannot write anything. Okay, it is they are the thick walled, highly elastic, and having narrow lumen with no wall. This point is most important, because in many examination the question will be not directly ask you about what are the difference between artery and veins, and it will be asked about what are the difference between artery and vein on the basis of wall, elasticity, narrow, lumen, wall. These are the questions. So okay, the second point is most important. Suppose that this is an artery. If we cut a section, so we can see that this one is this one. Okay, you see that there is a thick wall, there are so many thick wall. Okay, and the lumen is narrow lumen. Okay, now second one is vein. You see that it supply only deoxygenated blood, except pulmonary artery is just opposite to the artery, except pulmonary vein. Okay, it supply only deoxygenated blood except pulmonary vein. Veins are just opposite to the arteries. Okay, so here is the name. These are the thin wall, less elastic, and having wide lumen with valve. Okay, the valve which are present inside that, it only protect the backward flow of blood. Okay, it only protect the backward flow of blood. Okay, so suppose that this one is the vein. If we cut its section, and this one is the cut section, again you see that, suppose that this is a vein. Okay, if we cut a section, so we can easily see that this one, you see that it have a thin wall as comparison to the artery. Okay, and it have a wide lumen as comparison to the artery. So there are so many difference between artery and vein, and the question will be arise from that, what are the difference between artery and vein on the basis of this wall, lumen, elasticity, blood. So you can easily write from that. Okay, now next one is capillaries. First thing that I will told you, capillaries are present at the tip of the finger. Okay, it is basically present in between the arteries and vein. Okay, so inside the capillaries both oxygenated and deoxygenated blood will be flow. So here you can see that artery and vein, it is very thin wall and narrow wall. Suppose that this one is the diagram. Here you see that there are so many capillaries are present. Suppose that this one is artery, this one is vein, and here you see that valve. This is called as valve. In that vein, valve is present which prevent the backward flow of blood. Suppose that when blood will flow at the upside, and it can be not come to the reverse one. Okay, so these are the capillaries channel, yani capillaries. Okay, now human heart. This one is most important. From here there is the most important, because question will be definitely come in any examination. Human heart, first thing that I will told you in previous lecture in respiration, that I already told you, in the our left lung have a cardiac notch. Okay, in that cardiac notch that human heart is present. Okay, so our human heart is present in between our body. Okay, only the apex end, yeah, it means last end, is tilt toward the left side. So commonly all the peoples are called that heart is located on the left side. So here it begins. So you said it is reddish brown in color. Okay, it is the center of pump the blood in all part of our body, that you already know. Size of the human heart is left hand fist or left hand palm. Okay, be reminded that left hand fist or left hand palm, and its weight is about 300 gram. It is fluctuated about the average body weight or the body structure. Percent present in the center of the body, only the its apex end tilt toward the left side, so they are commonly called as it is present in the left side. Okay, the place where it was present, that is cardiac notch, cardiac cavity or thoracic cavity, the place where it was present. It is well protected with the help of ribs, and in the cavity is called as cardiac notch, that I already told in the respiration slides. Okay, it is also called as cardiac cavity or thoracic cavity. Okay, it is made up of a special tissue. In class 9 you already know that it is made up of special tissue, that is cardiac tissue. A membrane, one more thing, that a membrane which are present around the heart, that is called as pericardial or pericardium membrane. Okay, so in between the pericardial membrane and the heart membrane, a liquid is present, is called as pericardial fluid. Very important, pericardial fluid. That fluid is absorb all the shocks and injuries easily. Okay, this one, pericardial will protect heart from shock and injury and absorb it. Okay, heart is divided into 4 chamber. Our heart is divided into 4 chamber, that is 2 auricle. Okay, auricle also called as atrium, that is right and left, right auricle and left auricle. Next one is ventricle, 2 ventricle, which is also called as ventrium, that is right and left. Okay, so later we will see with the help of diagram. Okay, now diagram of human heart, you can easily see that this one is the diagram of human. This is the overview diagram of human heart. Here we can see that there are so many labeling. Okay, so first this one is the right and this one is the left. So this one is the apex end, that I will already discuss about that. Apex is all the, you see that all the heart is present in the center, only the apex end is still toward the left side. So commonly they are called as heart is located on the left side, and mainly the apex end will really pump. This one is called as left auricle, which are present in the left side, so it is called as left auricle or atrium. This is called as left ventricle or ventrium. This is called as right auricle or right atrium, right ventricle or right ventrium. Okay, next structure, this is called as very important, pulmonary artery. You see that it was present in the left side, so it is called a left pulmonary artery, and we all know that all the arteries carry oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. So this pulmonary artery, okay, carry deoxygenated blood, be reminded. Okay, so it is left side, so here it will be the present in the right side also. This one is the right pulmonary artery. These are the pulmonary veins. It is present in the left side, so it is left pulmonary vein, and it was present in the right side, so it is called as right pulmonary vein. One more time I am going to told you that all the vein carrying deoxygenated blood except pulmonary vein, because pulmonary vein only carry the oxygenated blood. So there are so many. One more labelings are, this is called as aorta. Aorta help to transfer oxygenated blood to the different part of the body, which we will discuss it later. Okay, next one is called as superior vena cava. This one is most important because it collect all the deoxygenated from blood from the upside of the body, and this will be called as inferior vena cava, which is collected all deoxygenated blood from the inside of the body. Okay, lower part of the body is deoxygenated blood will be collected by inferior vena cava, and upper body part deoxygenated blood covered by superior vena cava. Now one more time we will show that this is the diagram. You can easily remind it because later we will discuss about that. The labeling should be very clear, and you have to learn all the labeling where to whatever that labeling is there is was most important. You have to be serious and clear serious. Next one, you see that cross sectional view of human heart showing valve is most important. Suppose that this is the cross sectional view, we cut that valve, and here are some valves. Number one valve, you see that one is pulmonary artery. At the tip of pulmonary artery and valve is present is called as pulmonary valve. Be remind that pulmonary valve. Next, you see that in aorta, at the tip of aorta there is a valve is present. This is called as aortic valve. Okay, in between the artery and auricle and ventricle in the left side, you see that one valve is present. This is called as bicuspid or mitral valve. In between the right auricle and right ventricle, a valve is present. This is called as tricuspid wall. We remind the valve because it is most important, and later we will see that function about that. Now here you see the direction, the flow of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, because this diagram is most important. You can clearly see that here red is for deoxygenated blood. Here we see that red arrow is for deoxygenated blood and blue arrow is for oxygenated blood. So here you see the diagram. This one is the oxygenated. First I will show the oxygenated blood. This is the diagram. Okay, you see the very clearly, you see that diagram. Okay, aorta, you see that aorta, the three arrow is there, the blue arrow is there. So you can see that very clearly that oxygenated blood will be moved. Okay, and now we come to the deoxygenated blood. Inferior vena cava, you see superior vena cava, and this one and this one. Okay, so the arrow will show that the flow of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Later we will discuss about that all things. Diagrammatic view or double circulation. Now this one is most important of this topic, that is transportation. Now see that very clearly. Suppose that this is the diagram of heart. Okay, and we all know that lungs and muscles are present. Lungs receive oxygen and remove carbon dioxide. Okay, all the labeling in your mind, because labeling is most important. You can easily learn from that. Okay, so now first you see that suppose that we all know that when we eat anything, it can be stored in the form of glycogen, that is simply it is called as C6H12O6. Okay, in the muscle you see that C6H12O6 is present. Okay, now the oxygen, green is for oxygen. Okay, the oxygen will be transferred, okay, in the pulmonary veins. Okay, oxygen will be transferred in the pulmonary veins, that is right and left both side. Okay, so first the oxygen will be transferred in the pulmonary and then into the this, you see that left and right, that is left, and that this one is there. This one is the left side, this one is the left side, and this one is the right side. Okay, now after that it is transferred into left auricle, then it is transferred into the left ventricle to the bicuspid or mitral valve. Okay, so the oxygenated blood is present in the left ventricle. Okay, after the pumping of apex, this is the apex. Okay, after the pumping of apex, okay, it can easily transfer in the this side, that is aortic wall. You can see that first transfer in the aortic wall, and later it will be transfer. You see that upside arrow, that 3, there's 3 1 3 1, you see that very clearly. Okay, and after that all the oxygen will become inside the muscle. And you all know that in respiration, when glucose, that is C6H12O6 combined with oxygen, it form carbon dioxide, water and energy. Okay, water is excreted from our body by the excretion, energy utilized by us. Now carbon dioxide will be we will going to release from the body. Suppose that this carbon dioxide will be enter from inferior vena cava and superior vena cava. After that it will be enter into the right auricle, and after that it will be enter into the right ventricle. So in the right ventricle deoxygenated blood is present, and in the left ventricle, oxygenated blood is present. Again, you see that the apex will be pump. So when the apex will be pumped, it will be this valve is called as pulmonary valve, and the valve will be open, and that deoxygenated blood will be transferred in the pulmonary veins, pulmonary artery, and later that right and left both, and that carbon dioxide will be easily released from the lungs. Okay, so excretion will be takes place. So this one is most important. Okay, can easily learn, because double circulation, this is called as double circulation. Double circulation is most important because in maximum examination this double circulation will become. Before we study about the double circulation, remind all the levels of the diagram of human heart and a valve, the valve which are present inside that. Okay, this is a diagrammatic view, you can easily learn from that. Now you see the flow chart of double circulation. Now you can easily see that this one also, this is the lung, this is the muscle, that the same function, only we will write not diagrammatic. Lungs, we all know that oxygen it will be take and carbon dioxide will release. The oxygen lungs, the oxygen will be transferred by left and right pulmonary vein. Okay, left and right pulmonary vein. Okay, after that it will transfer in that oxygen will be transferred in the left auricle, after that into left ventricle, then aorta. After the pumping, that the oxygen will be transferred into muscle, and inside the muscle that glucose is present, that is C6H12O6 is present. When that glucose is combined with oxygen, it releases carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide will be moved with the help of superior inferior vena cava. Then it transfer into the right auricle, then right ventricle, and then it is transferred into the right and left pulmonary veins, and that into the lungs, and carbon dioxide will be released from the body. Now again you will describe that. Here you see that lung receive carbon dioxide, oxygen, and release carbon dioxide. The oxygen will be transferred with the help of right and left pulmonary vein. It will be transferred into the left auricle, then into the left ventricle, and then into the aorta. Aorta transfer the oxygenated blood into the muscles, and that from muscles, and inside the muscle we all know that C6H12O6 is present, and that combined with oxygen and converted into the carbon dioxide, water, and energy. That carbon dioxide it transfer with the help of superior inferior vena cava to the right auricle, right ventricle, then into right and left pulmonary artery, then into the lungs, and here carbon dioxide will be released from the body. This is the flow chart. We can easily, you can write like this. Okay, because you see that here is the lung and here is the muscles. Here is the lung is here is 2 1, and here is also that 2. Here is muscle 1 2 1 2. In between that we have draw one line. Okay, so upside you see that pulmonary part is there, pulmonary part is there. So upper is called as pulmonary circulation and lower is called as systemic circulation. We all know that this is called a double circulation. So two part is there, that is pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. So easily we can learn from that. Now description of double circulation, description that I already given you, but here you can see in the written form. The heart is the key organ that blood circulate double circulation in our body to circulation provided by effective way of circulation. The main difference in that blood flow in two routes that I already told you, that is first one is pulmonary, that is oxygenated, and second one is deoxygenated. The two routes are that is pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation, that is already I will already told you. Hence the name is called double circulation, because both blood, that is oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, will flow in our body. So these are called as double circulation. The heart is connected to the lung to the pulmonary artery and vein. The double circulation are two paths which in the blood flow they are: number one, pulmonary circulation. Now here in the pulmonary circulation, the blood circulate start from the right atrium, yani right auricle, to the left atrium in this path. The pulmonary artery collected the blood from the right ventricle and carried to the lung from oxygenated. Okay, once after the purification process, the oxygenated blood is pumped back to the left atrium through the pulmonary veins, which is carried to the left ventricle. The left ventricle pump the oxygenated blood to the aorta from systemic circulation. Now come to the systemic circulation. Systemic circulation carries oxygenated blood from the left ventricle to the tissue capillaries. Tissue capillary, you all know that it is collected that is tissue capillary, it means muscles. Okay, the oxygenated rich blood is transferred to aorta by circulating into various parts of the body. Later, the veins and venues collected the deoxygenated blood, which is rich in carbon dioxide, into the various parts of the body. The deoxygenated blood is pumped back into the superior inferior vena cava and then into the right atrium. Once after receiving the deoxygenated blood, the right atrium carries blood to the right ventricle to the pulmonary circulation. Okay, so there are so many. Next point is that double circulation support a strict separation of both oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Therefore, this circulation ensures that the body always has a dedicated supply of oxygen, and also it improves your body efficiency. This is also one of the reason why mammals can maintain their body, that is called as hemostasis. Through this double circulation, we can easily maintain our body temperature, and double circulation is needed. Double circulation is very needed for our body, because it helps to separate oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, and we are only required oxygenated, not deoxygenated blood. So one question will be very easily come in the examination. The circulatory system is responsible for the transportation of nutrients and gases like oxygen to the body and metabolic waste product away from the body. The heart and the lung play an important role in the circulation and purification of blood through the body. Now come to the blood pressure. Blood pressure, we all know the blood pressure that is easily measured with the help of sphygmomanometer. Okay, blood pressure, here we told about the one, that is normally we say that blood pressure, if we measure the blood pressure, it will be right there 120 upon 70 mmHg. So what is 120 and what is 70? Why we will write like that? So 120, that is upward, that is called a systolic blood pressure, and next one is diastolic. So here you see that blood pressure is the force of blood against the artery. It is the force of blood against the artery. Normal blood pressure is 120 or 140 upon 70 to 90 mmHg. Hg is the mercury. Mercury is what present in the sphygmomanometer. Sphygmomanometer is the instrument which are used to measure the blood pressure. Now here you see a type of blood pressure. Very easily you can see the flow chart, because this one is the most important. You can easily learn the types. There are two types, that is systolic blood pressure and diastolic blood pressure. After that, we will give you a shortcut to learn about the systolic and diastolic blood pressure with the sound, that is lub and dub sound. So here you can see that definition: the amount of pressure exerted on the artery and blood vessels. Okay, the pressure which are exerted by the artery and blood vessels, the pressure which is exerted on the wall of artery. Okay, so in systolic, first thing that I told you, in systolic there is the pumping of heart. So heart will pump, okay, and it will create pressure on the arteries. When heart pump, there are so many arteries and veins are present in there, so it create pressure on the arteries. But here arteries create, but in diastolic blood pressure, arteries create pressure on the wall of heart, because in diastolic the blood will be filled inside the heart. Okay, here is normal range. You see that normal is, whereas there are various normal range, but basically you learn about the 120 upon 120 to 140. Here is in 90. Okay, ventricles of the heart, ventricle contract, it means ventricle, that is right ventricle and left ventricle are contract. Here that is filled with blood, that means expand. Reading of blood pressure, that is higher, it means higher, that I already told you, 120 it is higher and 90 is lower, and diastolic is lower. Blood pressure inside the artery, blood pressure inside the artery is maximum and minimum. Okay, blood vessel is contract, it means that I already told you, it is contract and here is relaxed. Okay, associated with the age associated with the age will be increased. Systolic is increase, because in the second point, in normal range, you see that at the different ages the systolic blood pressure will be increased and diastolic blood pressure will be decreased. And systolic stage occurs when the left ventricle gets contracted, that I already told you, left and right ventricle, basically you told that left and right ventricle will be get contracted, and here the left ventricle get relaxed. Okay, so here you see that there are two types of blood pressure, that is systolic blood pressure and diastolic blood pressure. So mainly you have to in your mind that in systole there is a pumping of heart, okay, and diastole there is filling of blood inside the heart, okay. Systole, that is pumping of blood by the heart, okay. So in systole the heart will contract, okay. In diastole, filling of blood inside the heart. So here is the relaxation of the heart. So here you can see the easily diagram, this in you see that the blood will be released from the heart. So the heart will be get contracted. This one is systolic blood pressure, and here you see that there is the filling of blood inside the heart, okay. So it is called a diastolic blood pressure, okay. So note, there are so many note point. Diastolic, one more thing that I already told you, that during systole there is an opening of our pulmonary and aortic valve, the valve which are present at the tip of pulmonary artery and aorta. It will be open and close of tricuspid and mitral wall, that is bicuspid wall, okay. The sound is created, that is called as lub sound, LUB sound, okay. Just vice versa, it means opposite. During diastole there is a closing of pulmonary and aortic wall and opening of tricuspid and mitral wall. Due to the sound is produced called as what? Dub sound. This one is most important, you can learn from that. Now there are so many questions. Question number 1, how is the continuity of water column maintained with the help of transpiration? How are the mineral transported occur in the plant? That I already told you. What is the difference between transpiration and translocation? I already told you about that. You can write how the material transported in the higher plant by the circulatory system. Question number 5 is there, what are the type of substance transported in the circulatory system? Various type of substance will be transported, basically in the gases, that is oxygen and carbon dioxide are transferred in the circulatory system. What are the 3 components of circulatory system or men? You have to write in from that. Question number 7, maintaining 2 function of plasma, that is there are so many functions, I already told you. Formation of antibiotic, maintain the constant, and all that. What is agglutination? Just think about that agglutination. It is related to the blood platelets. Question number 9, write the function of the following heart, that is there are so many hearts, okay. So this is the end part of question